Hello and welcome back to a brand episode of Trash Talk. I'm here with a very, very special guest. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Hello, everyone. I am well known, kind of, not really, whatever. I am NomisYalf, the serial killer of the internet here, ready to fucking flay everyone, I guess.
Well, just getting on that, right? You said that some people might not know you or whatever. I feel like small commentary wise, I think like in the past 6 months or so, you have made a name for yourself. I know that how I found your channel was through a small comment, or not small commentary, just commentary Reddit page. I saw one of your videos in there, and that's how me and Fabio and stuff first actually discovered your videos was on call, just watching that stuff through your Reddit page. So I reckon you've made a name for yourself since then in commentary.
I think that's pretty flattering, honestly, because I don't know, when you talk about me, I'm like a ghost in a way. I'm known. I'm like a whisper in the woods sort of idea where I'm known, but it's more like a secretly known thing. As if I'm some weirdo that just appears randomly, makes my peace, and then disappears. And it was a little weird, but it kind of worked for a while. Or at least for a fair bit.
Yeah, a bit like Jason Voorhees, right? Just sort of comes out, kills a couple of people, goes back, right? And the legacy and the rumors and stuff, right?
I feel like it sounds like
He's being very edgy. He's trying to be the edgiest.
No, I mean more like I made some videos. I got a name for myself as, a lot of people, if you said NomisYalf, they'd be like, oh, there's only one NomisYalf, but that sort of thing. Yeah. My name would pop up here and there and then never pop up again, that sort of idea. Disappear a little bit.
100%. And just speaking to you, I want to start in canonical order, right? I want to start right at the beginning, right? And we touched a little bit on this when you interviewed me for your podcast. Mm-hmm. But I'd like to touch on your beginning of YouTube, right? And more importantly, your beginning of commentary, right? Because for people that don't know, you've been going hardcore commentary stuff, videos for the past 6 months, right? You had a bit of activity beforehand with some weird videos, there was a dog bagpipe one. There was a couple of other weird videos.
I could say how I 100% started on YouTube if you want.
Yeah, 100%.
So, beforehand, I had a channel that was called Killer Creepy or some shit like that. And it was renamed multiple times or whatever, but that was the first ever name. And I got sort of memed on for being a Leafy clone or whatever. And I ended up managing to somehow get to just under 200K before shorts and everything, before any of this. This was in 2015. And I got really big, and then instantly I got multiple copyright strikes. And because copyright strikes are so bullshit, you would just you'd file it out, you'd put your details, and then it wouldn't get sent to YouTube. It would get sent to them. And then even if it was 100% legit, they just send it back and say no, and then you get a strike. And it was so frustrating. And then I just stopped dealing with it, and I was just okay, is there anything I could do? Even just take the video down. They're like, no. I got multiple strikes, and my entire channel got terminated, and I got no motivation. And then I made another channel where I just posted some memes and a meme of my dog before he passed away, and I just chilled with that. And then I started to make more memes because I was learning how to edit, and as my college course at the time, I just started to try and learn how to edit more. And then at one point, I made a video because someone asked and said, hey, you could be a funny old-style Pirate Cynical. I was I don't know, I'm a bit off of it because, the previous termination, but you know what? You're my best friend. You've been my best friend for a while. I'll make this video. And I made the video, and I was it feels kind of good to get back into it. And I got back into it, and then it just was me making weird videos on Reddit videos that I found, and a lot of them were really cringy, and you could hear in my voice that every time I reacted to them, I wanted to kill myself.
Well, I feel like you've had a very with your main channel at least, right? You've had a very good start to YouTube, right? Starting with a video that was conveniently named "Sexy Vaseline Man," right?
Sexy Vaseline Man Prostitute, yeah.
Yeah, a really weird title, but it set you on this commentary course at least, right? On your your main channel, NomisYalf.
Yeah,
and it set you on this journey, right? And I think you're pretty successful for how long you've genuinely been grinding commentary stuff, right? Like I believe you're on like 1.66K if I'm not mistaken, around there.
Something like I think it's like 1.67, something like that.
Yeah. So something around there, and you're doing well for yourself and whatever, right? But just
1.66. I just checked.
So around there, you're doing really well for yourself in commentary, especially commentary, right? A pretty hard genre at the moment to conquer, with all the content creators that are there. But a video that I want to speak about is your most popular one, and it's Leafy is Alive. Now I believe that video has around 5,000 views, which like for a channel your size is like really good, right? Like I feel like you've got more views in comparison to like how many subscribers you've got. So the video like reached a bunch more people. And like, do you think there was anything particular about that video that actually made more people click on it, or do you think it was just the fact it was like about Leafy?
Well, basically at the time when I made the video, I had like seen a bunch of shit on Leafy, and it's all like fake news, all bullshit, like, oh, Leafy's back, and he's not back. And at one point I was like, okay, well then Leafy's obviously not fucking back. He's been banned on Twitter, he's been banned on that, and I went looking to see if he's got anything he hasn't been banned on. And I checked Instagram, and it turned out he was still quite active on Instagram. So I was like, this is pretty big actually. For someone who's been terminated multiple times, this is pretty big. So I was like, maybe I should talk about this. So I tell people like, oh yeah, he's fucking alive, because he is alive. He's like, people act like him being alive meant he was dead before or some shit, but he really wasn't. He was just like maybe going under the radar is a better term. And I felt like I just wanted to spread my opinion on it personally. I didn't feel like it was something that would be like, oh, big because Leafy's name, because if that was the case, I'd probably have made like 17 videos on him. But I felt like I wanted to share my opinion with it and just chill with things. And I ended up actually like just recording some game called A Hat in Time, because I was actually enjoying it. It looked like a child's game, but it's got like really underlying themes that make it obvious that it's not a kid's game, but it's themed that way. But like everything about the video I enjoyed, and I tried to make it like old Leafy style to sort of like fit the theme of Leafy is Alive. And people enjoyed it. And then it just slowly spread out more.
I feel like it's always good when videos you've enjoyed making and you just enjoy it like blow up, right? And it's like almost like a reverse.
It makes me feel proud, honestly.
Yeah, like I feel like it's almost a reverse of like videos that like a lot of people, right? Their most popular video will be a video that didn't really take much time, a shit post, whatever, right?
Like my Siren Queen meme.
Yeah, right. Like those videos, right? Like you could put hours and hours of editing and recording into a video, and it won't do well. But a video like that will like get 4,000 views, right?
I'm not even kidding. Literally, the meme, like someone made some stupid little meme or whatever, and then I made the full version, and then everyone just fucking went bonkers.
Well, that's the thing, right? Is like you didn't like spend hours on this, right? You spent probably like an hour, 30 minutes, whatever, right? Not even that. Just making this video.
I think I spent like an hour and 30 minutes roughly.
Yeah, right. So you just like uploaded this video, and like I always find, and it's frustrating, right? Like one of my old most popular videos, it was on Nicocado, right? So this 3-minute video, just like it's decently edited, whatever, right? It probably took me 2 hours to make. The video,
nothing too massive, but like something.
Yeah, like something that like is decently edited, right? But it's like not a very long video. But then like a video like my Andrew Tate documentary, which is like 40 minutes of like some of my best editing and other people's work, right? It got 500 views, didn't even get 1,000, right? And it is just, I do love when videos that you just put no effort into sort of just do explode.
Yeah, it is very, like, maybe it's just me, but I feel like it's a little insulting when that happens, just a little bit.
Yeah, it's almost like a kick in the teeth from YouTube. And
it's literally like, you're like, hey, did you like this very big video? I put so much time into it. And they're like, haha, fuck you. Just kick you in the balls, walk over to your piece of shit video that you know you didn't put as much time into.
Yeah, exactly, right? And just on the topic of videos and stuff, I do want to ask you, what do you believe is your best video, but what do you believe at the same time is also your worst video?
I would say that maybe it's not my best, but personally, I made a video on Harley TBS, and I tried to put everything I could at the time while I was still learning my editing to be like better and stuff. I tried to put everything I could into that video, and it didn't get exactly everything that I was hoping for, which honestly, it upset me. But like, as time went on, it got a lot more attention, and I'm proud of that. But like, I was so unbelievably, like, even though it didn't blow up, it didn't disappoint me. I was so unbelievably proud of myself because I had done something with like the most, and this is a project that I went back and forth to because occasionally it took a lot of time, a lot of effort, too much effort, in fact, to the point where I had to like take time off and like go back and forth from it because I just couldn't. And it got to a point where I knew I was avoiding it, and I was just like, you know what? Fuck this. I'm gonna put everything into it. I'm gonna put everything into it. I'm gonna do it right now, right here. This is today's upload. Fuck it. And I got it like right near the end of the day, and everyone that was actually in my server at the time, they were quite enjoying it, and I was like quite happy with that, and I was just genuinely proud of myself. I even rewatched it a few times personally myself, just because I was so proud of it. But I would definitely say, in terms of like overall quality, I would probably say that it's gonna sound fucked, but basically there was a trend going on, and I thought, you know what, it would be funny. My worst video, even not just because like overall quality is garbage, but definitely my worst video is Minecraft Rule 34 is so messed up.
Minecraft Rule 34. In your opinion, right? Apart from that, it was like a trending topic and stuff, and like it was just going around at the time. What makes that video your worst video?
Well, basically, it has a bunch of censored giant penises on women, and it's fucking disgusting. But like, it's fucking hilarious. So I thought it was funny to do it, and because people were trending with these memes, I was like, you know what? Sure, maybe it'll be a bit funny. And it was fucking horrible. So you'd see like this like Minecraft woman with the biggest boobs lactating or whatever, and then she'd have like a massive penis, and you're like, who the fuck does this? Who spends time putting a massive penis on a Minecraft character in Blender and then has it fuck a cat? Like, what the fuck is this? There was one of a fucking Minecraft block person being fucked by a horse, and I'm sitting there like, who the fuck has time to... Who does this? Who does this?
Who watches that as well? Like, who sits down and thinks, let me watch that?
I don't know if you know this. A while ago, I think it was roughly 2018. So, I don't know if you know this. Pornhub occasionally tweet out what their most searched porn result was on Pornhub. And I think it was 2018 or 19. But basically, one of the most searched results was Minecraft drilling. And I'm like, oh my fucking god. This is a dark day for humanity. So little kids are like, oh my god, I really like Minecraft, but I also feel a little bit of a tingle down there. Yes, the Minecraft porn. Like, fucking hell. Like, here's the thing. I watched it, and I was like, it was such a turn-off that it was actually funny. Like, who genuinely gets an erection thinking of a fucking cube? A genuine cube. Who gets a hard-on thinking of a cube with a penis?
Well, yeah, like that's just like on a different level, right? Like it's just so messed up. Like
that's exactly why I called it Minecraft Rule 34 is so messed. Here's the funny thing. They age restricted it twice, and then I'm like, well, this other guy did it. Why is mine getting age restricted? And they're like, fair enough. They age restricted it straight afterward.
It's so weird. Like, I genuinely want to know, like, what kind of people, apart from, like, really horny, like, 18, 19-year-olds who, like, love Minecraft and love Tommy in it, want to sit down and, like, wank off to some, like, Minecraft, like,
just some fucking blocky boobs and a massive block penis.
Yeah, like, you're watching, like, a dream video and then you're just, like, wanking off at the same time. Like, it just doesn't make any sense.
Just fucking, like... like, you've inspired me to make an edit, but like now I'm gonna make an edit where it's just like an image of like some weird Rule 34 of Minecraft, and then it just cuts to Bautukan just like, I'm about to come on! Just like, I'm like, fucking hell. Like, I made another video that was actually before that, And I guess you could say like that was the original add to the trend, and it was Jaden Animations Rule 34 is so bad. And it was so much worse. It was so much worse. Like, they would draw Jaden Animations' character with like a dick being fucked by the mother character with a dick. Like, some of these people. It's there was one of like Jaden Animations with a penis and huge tits, like taking their mother's hard dick all the way in with like a massive fucking bulge, yeah? And then like coming, literally the entire fucking screen was white. You couldn't even see the pink background.
Well, like, again, like, my question is, like, again, like, what sort of weird people are sitting down? Well, yeah, like, who's sitting down and going, I need to watch the Jane Animation Rule 34, like, oh, God, let me get myself hard. Like,
oh, my God, guys, a pencil drawing?
Yeah.
Like,
It's like in similar vein, right? So like people that sit down and go hentai, like on Twitter, right? They're like lyrics mode where they're scrolling like hentai. Like I just don't get it. Like who sits down and goes, "Oh, this is lovely," right? Like because that's not gonna happen in reality, right? You're not gonna walk down the road and some like Minecraft horse and Steve is gonna be like fucking wanking on it, right? This is not happening. It's just not gonna like. I don't get it. It's like
me and the boys, stuff. we just sit on the couch, put some Minecraft fucking horse, and we just go like, you know, that's some good quality content. Just some Steve being fucked by a horse, you know.
Yeah, like bunging on like a dream Twitch stream and just like fucking jacking off on the middle of the sofa.
Dude, it's so bad. It's so bad. Like. I don't understand. Like, here's the thing. I can understand if, like, maybe you got a bit of a weird fetish, like, something I'm not too interested in, but I can understand it. Like, you like a bit of that, like, fisting, not my personal cup of tea. Like, a bit of fat, bit of, like, disgustingly overweight fat chicks. Fair enough. Like, it's still a real woman or a real man, whatever you're fat to, you know? And it's fine. Like, that doesn't bother me. Like, I don't understand this. I have never once gotten erect from a pornographic drawing or, like, hentai images or manga. Like, I physically cannot get anything from that. Like, genuinely. Like, I look at a sexy woman. Like, I can get a bit of that. I'm not going to talk about that because that is fucked. I'm not talking about porn on a fucking podcast. But you know what I mean? Like, I don't. How can you get erect to a fucking drawing?
Well, like I get people that like I swear like everyone's like sat down watching a movie like whatever, and they've been attracted to like the lead actress or lead male or whatever, right? Like that's fine, whatever, right? But then when you're like could you imagine like sitting down like banging on the Spider-Man animated thing and like sitting off and jacking off to it? Like it just doesn't just like come into my mind, right? Like Spider-Man's coming off the screen. You've just gone into the cinema to see the brand new Across the Spider-Verse, right? You're just like wanking off in the corner, like why?
Just like no, like it's funny because I remember there was this guy, like I was watching like the new Thor or whatever, and there was this fucking guy who walked in. He was wearing like all his clothes and everything, and we were watching I think it was called Thor Ragnarok, and I was watching it with my girlfriend, who's an ex now, but like we're chill, and we were watching it, and she was like getting like really excited for it because she's like obviously one of these people who would probably take a dick just to meet Thor in real life, and fucking, and then like as we're getting up, we just see this fucking guy pull his trousers on, and he wasn't like fully naked, but he sat through the whole thing just in like fucking skin tight boxers. And I just sit up and the lights turn on, and I'm like, what the fuck? I don't mention it, I don't talk about it, and I just leave the cinema. I just completely ignore. No, like so he was at like one of the far back seats, and I'm like, Jesus, was he like? Because like I'm like I didn't see anything, but like was he beating off to Thor? Was he beating off to Thor, and he's just like now pulling his trousers up? I'm just sitting there like, the fuck? Like the hell? Was he just like? You know, I don't. Well, like here's the thing. Was he just like going like stealth mode in this bitch, just like some of that, or was he just he just didn't like jeans? He was like, not uncomfortable. I'm gonna take these off. Like, it's weird.
Well, like
either way, it's a weird situation.
Yeah, it's a really weird situation regardless. Like, again,
okay. Can we maybe like direct this to new questions, not porn, please?
Yeah, I think we've spoken enough about
it went from my worst video to hello everyone, Minecraft penis.
Yeah, Minecraft fapping off to Spider-Man.
Fucking Steve and Jaden Animation fucking on the couch while watching Into the Spider-Verse.
Yeah. So a question that I do want to ask, and it's relating to your podcast, right?
Go bonkers.
You've got a pretty popular podcast going on with Azaz as the co-host, and I believe Meadows as well, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, Death Meadows.
Yeah, although it seems like they never show up on time or show up at all.
Yeah, so some because we live in different time zones, it's quite harder to get everyone on point. So it can be a lot harder for things. Not to mention, as of today, I would gladly get Death Meadows in right now because he's his time zone is an hour above mine. That's it alone. But he's doing this thing with an event. I don't know if you've ever heard of something called Arma, and he's basically doing this thing because they do a drill thing because he used to be an actual soldier. Basically, it's this thing where they do military tactics in a video game that's hyper realistic, and obviously he's quite into that. So he's busy with that event. So yeah, 100%. But based as he is the fair excuse of he's in a whole different time zone.
Yeah, no, I get that, man. And for you with your podcast, right? You've had quite a few people on. Probably most notably, Natty Forsyth, probably one of your biggest guests, if I'm not mistaken, right? Natty's probably up there. Yeah, and for you, I'm gonna ask the positive question before I ask the negative. Who's your best guest, and who would you love to have on the podcast?
Best guest. That's a tough one because when I've interviewed people have been pretty respectful, but that's genuinely a tough one. I think probably Natty Forsyth because they were quite respectful. They talked about everything really chill. They even stopped what they were saying because to talk with LTBs and that when they were asking or we were asking stuff. Even when we were interrupting, they were really respectful, really chill with everything, and really relaxed. But at the same time, I don't know. My friend used to joke with me and take the piss out of me and call it psycho sense, but it's I can read people pretty well, and it just. Oh, great.
It's me.
Yeah, let me
I got
kick him.
falsely accused by you, Flair. He saw my IP.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. Anyway, basically with shit, it was a case of they're really relaxed, really chill. I can read people pretty well, and they were quite honest with me. They showed a police document, obviously, hiding their address because you don't show that because if I show that. And something bugs, even a frame, someone could get their address, and that'd be not cool. So they were quite respectful. They're pretty chill. They let everyone get everything out. They let everyone talk, and it was pretty respectful overall. And if I'm gonna say who I could get onto the podcast, that is genuinely a tough one. I feel like I would, I don't like him. I think he's an asshole. But I feel like I would genuinely like to get Zero Needs Coffee on the podcast and really get into his head.
Yeah, but I felt Zero as I spoke to him before he really blew up and before all the allegations came out. And he's a really interesting guy to divulge into, right? At the time, there wasn't all the stuff coming out and there wasn't all of this weird egotistical stuff coming from him. So no, 100%. I 100% get that because he's got this really weird mindset with everything, right? Especially with all the allegations, right? People are defending him, but throughout all of it, all he was saying to people that he'd done something wrong, he was guilty and stuff. And there was a clip that YouTuber Ace Howler had brought up because Zero had collabed with Clappy beforehand, right?
Yeah. I'm aware of this. I'm pretty. Well, I'm not the best friends with them, but I'm pretty good friends with Ace, and I'm pretty good friends with Clappy as well.
Yeah, and basically this clip is just him sitting down, right? He's talking about some pedo, and he's talking about the age of consent for messages and stuff, and talking about everything, which is a clip that's aged horribly. So I feel just speaking to him now, because he knows what he did was wrong, whatever, right? Regardless of what other people say. So yeah, 100%. An episode just sitting down, and I can 100% get behind that. I would like to.
I don't like him. I think what he did is fucked, and I think what he's doing now is worse because long form content, he's really trying to milk the situation with clickbait. And it's kind of manipulative in a way and quite disgusting to do. It's pretty bullshit. But overall, I would say I would genuinely want to get him on the podcast just to get into his head. Like, not like I'm gonna fuck with him, but more like get in his head, get in his mindset, talk to him honestly. If he's lying, I'm fucking pretty quick to understand and notice that, and I'll genuinely tell him to quit shit. But like, I want to get genuinely in his head, talk to him honestly, get the whole situation, ask him what he wants to say, genuinely what's up, ask him to probably apologize to an audience sort of thing, and genuinely face the allegations instead of being a pussy about it, and just genuinely get in his head. And and like overall, I think I could probably get like the honest truth out of him. Like I'm not gonna go like, oh yeah, I could fix him, but I feel like I could probably get some level of honest truth on him.
So on the flip side of that, right? You said about your best guess being Natty and your like dream guess being Zero. And now this is a tough one, right? Because you've only like had 9 episodes publicly released. Yeah. But who was your worst guest?
Worst guest.
I don't know if this is a question you do want to answer because I know like remaining mutual and stuff, but like subjectively, it doesn't matter if the person was nice or whatever. Just what episode in your opinion was just like the worst of like the manners loudest?
Well, I would say overall talking about everything, because you've seen them all, I'm assuming, or like you've gotten a rough gist of everything. I would say like, I personally thought Bear Studios coming on the podcast was good, and I like actually thought he was really fucking chill, and I enjoyed talking to Bear Studios. We became like sort of like not the closest, but we became friends over that as well. And I thought that was pretty fucking cool. But overall, out of everything, I would say Malay definitely dragged everything down, because if you look at like older things and then newer things as well, he bragged about doxing Azaz and just said, oh, well, someone else did it before it, so that makes it okay, which it really doesn't. He is completely unsympathetic about everything he's done. And he's just like, I don't know if you've noticed, but like, especially with how he talks and word things, he's completely egotistical. Yeah, he's definitely the worst part of the entire podcast, and I think the best thing about the podcast was definitely removing him.
Yeah, like the thing with him is that like I don't know how anyone could do a podcast with him, right? Like I feel like even when I did an episode with him, it's just like an episode, right? Like not him coming back as a recurring person, right? Just one episode. It was genuinely awful. He's taking these side jabs while also trying to get on my cock, right? And like one another episode. Right, he's a guy that for a podcast he doesn't fit on a podcast. I'm not saying that just because he's got like this horrible list, but I'm just saying that as well because he's
I can completely understand that and get behind.
Doesn't really have a personality.
Dude, he acts like he is the. He acts like he's the big cheese, and it's like really infuriating because here's the thing. So like obviously I was the creator of the podcast. I was the original, if you will, because I created it. I owned the trademark and I actually continued to run with it. Like everything that was done was purely by me. He was pretty much just like a permanent guest, if you will. And I asked him to put me in the middle of one of the thumbnails because, you know, obviously, like, if I created it, I feel like maybe I should be in the middle, like, sort of the glue that holds everything to the stand, if you will. And he completely refused and put himself in the middle of it. It was the fucking Bear Studios versus Just Malay in it, and it was pretty much just him being a dick. But I let it slide. But, like, he's completely egotistical and definitely 100% self-absorbed. He acts like he's big, and honestly, I feel like him getting any level of fame is just going to hurt the entirety of what a commentary channel should be.
Yeah, 100%. I've like cited him a couple of times as like one of the people that has really degraded small commentary over the past couple of months, and is one of the reasons, and not just him, just in general, but people like him. It's one of the reasons why small commentary is sort of dying out as a community, and why people are scared as well and don't join as often as like I would like and other people would like. So you do get this like influx, and he's what gives small commentary quite a bad reputation.
Yeah, I can see that being a thing. I mean, from what I've seen, he's pretty much like, I've seen everything. His videos are lackluster. He hypes them up like they're hot shit, but they're really just bland and tasteless. the editing needs work, and even when you criticize him saying like, oh yeah, you could do this better, he straight up just refuses and says like, oh well, you're just a hater or cope. And it's pretty much just a case of he will not accept criticism to make his content better. He will not react in any way in this sense, and he purposefully does this purely to be annoying. Everything, and here's the thing, I've talked to him on a private side. He does YouTube purely for fame. He only wants that. That's his number one goal. And besides that, he doesn't care about anything else. It's only fame for him. When it comes to YouTube, like when his channel was deleted and everything, he didn't care about the fact that it was deleted. He cared about the fact that he had to start over again and that all the subs, it was pretty much just a case of very obvious. He's only doing, it's not like, with me, YouTube started as like me doing it for a friend, and then it was entertaining, and I enjoyed doing it, and I still enjoy doing it. And then it just moved on with that. I enjoyed doing it. Whereas with him, it's never been about that. It's purely for the goal of, oh, I could get 1,000 subs, maybe I could get money, fame, all that sort of thing.
No, 100%. And just like on the topic of Malay and stuff, you've had quite a fair few controversies, and on Trash Talk I do like to speak about controversies and stuff to the people who involved.
Obviously.
And like a couple that I do want to bring up. Of course, you've had like a couple with the YouTubers Rummy, but again, I felt like that's been like spoke about quite a bit by you and just other people. So we leave that one by. But one that I do want to speak about because it's recent is your recent stuff with MushroomGirl.
Yeah.
Of course, you made that video that sort of sparked off everything. But mainly, I just want to hear about your thoughts. And I know you did recently release a video just responding to MushroomGirl. But MushroomGirl dropped a response video to you, which was 28 fucking minutes long. And for people that maybe don't have the brain cells to watch it, could you just give like an overview of like what the situation and what's happened with it?
Okay, so I wanted to make the joke of how every commentary community, for whatever reason, every commentary YouTuber has somehow, in some way, pissed off the art commentary community. Just somehow. So I felt like, what if I jump on this trend in a joking manner, like, you know what, fuck it, why don't I piss off the art commentary community? So I basically made a video that was definitely not 100% serious, and it basically was criticizing on how they repeat themselves, their content is lackluster, their content needs work, their editing is boring, they do nothing original, and overall they could be doing a lot more, like wasted potential. And they took the video as if it was me about to say, I hate your channel, I'm gonna kill your channel's dead, you're irrelevant, fuck you. And I mentioned about how, like, you know, they as a channel, they're pretty much irrelevant, but when it comes to everything, like, compared to everything, they're irrelevant, same as me. Technically, same as you, but you're less irrelevant than me, because, like, obviously it's people like PewDiePie, like, over 100 million and stuff like that, like, we're technically irrelevant. But, like, they believe they've got relevancy because of the number. And they instantly jump to, oh, your account was made in 2016 because you made small things, and go, oh, well, you're irrelevant because you got 1K and you made it then, even though I've been like less than a year, something like that. I think it's like a little bit like half a year, something like that. And it's been half a year and I've already reached from 0 subs to 1.6K. So overall, if we're talking about irrelevancy, they've been around since, what, 2020? That's 3 years, and they're on 3K, and I'm already about half their set. I think overall, irrelevancy is her. They seem to trick themselves into thinking they've got relevancy, and I'm not here to like, oh, I'm more relevant, because I'm not. None of us are. But in the very same sense, I would say that she tricks herself into thinking she's more relevant than others, but overall, in a statistics kind of way, she's irrelevant, same as everyone else. But, like, I would say, watching the video, I literally had to do this twice, by the way. I watched the video, I was recording it in Audacity, and I felt like the video was just going way too long, and it was completely killing my motivation, because I don't like to make really long videos on this shit. And I would like to reiterate, I made a 9-minute video that was barely 9 minutes. I think it was like 9 minutes and 39 seconds or something. And she made a 28, almost 29-minute video responding to this fucking shit. almost 30-minute video on a 9-minute video someone made, and all of her points were unbelievably retarded. So I think a perfect example would be they say, oh, I repeat myself over and over and over and over again. And I talk to them like privately in DMs, and they say how I can't make the argument that they don't make original content because I don't make original content with gameplay commentaries, despite technically I do, because I've got my still, and my still is original to me exclusively, whereas their still is literally just a PNG that sits on the right side of the screen the entire time. Whereas mine, they emote, they show off my emotion, they basically show off how I'm feeling for those who get confused easily. And that's more original than what they're doing, but they made the argument that because it's gameplay commentary, I can't make the argument that they're unoriginal. And then I was like, but then you can't make the argument that I'm repeating myself because you do it in the same video. And in my actual response video, I showed a clip of them basically repeating themselves. They said the word edgy 9 times in the space of something like 10 minutes.
But like for you with the MushroomGirl situation, I know what I think about it. I think MushroomGirl's video was a heavy overreaction, like calling like what like she likes to call edgy boys. That was really cringe.
Dude, you want to know what's worse? They said that I was a Tumblr sexy man, and I was like, I wasn't reading too much into it, and I made the joke that, oh well, I don't want to be that because I'm banned on Tumblr for telling kids to kill themselves. And it's an exaggeration joke because I didn't tell kids to kill themselves. Back when the system was you weren't allowed to post porn, but there was no moderation, so everyone still posted porn. I used to tell those accounts to end themselves, to delete their accounts, because like they're breaking the rules, but no one did anything to it. But I got banned for saying kill yourself because they broke the rules. But they just completely blindside that. So it was a bit of an exaggeration because they're not kids. They're probably, I hope they're not fucking kids posting porn on Tumblr. But like, you get the idea. And it's a bit of an exaggeration, but the idea is, I was not thinking too much into it. And then I'm like, wait, she's called me a Tumblr sexy man like multiple times. So is she saying that she thinks I'm I'm a sexy man on Tumblr or something? I'm like, is a minor calling me sexy? This is a bit fucked up.
Yeah.
Just a little bit just a bit fucked up, man. Like if a minor is calling me sexy, then I think I'm just gonna call the police.
Yeah. But no, like I felt like MushroomGirl's response was like a complete over-exaggeration. Like it was a 28-minute video.
Unironically, I watched it multiple times to like get the best Audacity thing. I had to re-record Audacity in 2 separate occasions, and it's because like it would just keep going way too long, and I would miss my place or whatever, and then actually repeat myself. But like worse repeat myself, stuff that I feel like had some stuff in it that would make it worse to remove. So I ended up having to redo it a bunch of times, and it sucked. But having to rewatch her video multiple times, including having to rewatch it while editing it, it was brain numbing. I genuinely like. If it wasn't for the fact that obviously I had to get the video done, I would just fucking slam my head on the desk until I killed myself because like her points. They're just so bad. Like you could say, oh, my points were bad. Yeah, they were fucking bad, but they were still good points to be fair. Like everyone said them, but like her content is bland, it's boring, it's tasteless, and her still isn't a still. It's an image on the right side of the screen that never changed. That's not a still. It's staying still. It's not a still. A still is meant to display emotion. And you could say that my points were valid, even if they might be overdone, but I tried to make sure that I said points that other people didn't, and I did say points that other people didn't. Even giving her constructive criticism in a way saying, what if you had, your art pieces over here of you drawing, and then gameplay just to, add originality, because then you've got your art commentary on the top right, and gameplay. You could hit the best of both audiences. And I don't see anyone doing that. I've never seen anyone do that where they've got art commentary and then they've got gameplay at the same time. I never see anyone doing that. So I thought, why don't I edit this, show you what I mean, and this could be an example hey, this could be a bit more original. I've never seen anyone do this. It's a bit interesting. And they took it as, oh, well, so you're basically saying I should do one of those split screen things for like Family Guy and the phone game and slime videos. I'm like, no, that is not what I was saying. Like, her points are so brain numbing. It actually hurt my head. Like, unironically, I genuinely took painkillers for it. Exclusively for that. Like, I know, had a bit of surgery, that sucks. I'm still in recovery, but like, I didn't take it for that. I genuinely took it because she was giving me a fucking headache.
Yeah, like I feel like with Mushroom Girl's response and with everything, she's probably one of the most annoying people that I've ever come across. And I actually did an episode of Trash Talk with her, probably I don't know, maybe 6 months ago now, and it never came out, right? Because I was rewatching it back, and you could not really understand anything she was saying.
Dude, I tried to get her on an interview, and she was just making excuses, dodging, like, oh, but I don't like my voice, and I'm like, well, okay.
Then why make videos? Why talk and make videos then? Like when I spoke to her, she was speaking about constantly being paranoid, and that anytime she's come on a podcast, right, people would just come on to mock her, right? And it was probably the worst episode that, like, I know you asked me this when we were doing our episode.
Yeah.
But, like, I feel like it's relevant here. Is like it's probably the worst episode I've ever filmed because she's so obnoxious and she's just hard to listen to in general for longer than like 5 minutes. Like I can do it, no one can do it, and I feel bad for you that you have to look for a 28-minute response video on one of your videos.
I genuinely was just watching it, and I just like I'm so glad that my gun got confiscated, because if it didn't get confiscated, I'd have killed myself.
Yeah, it's such a long, unnecessary video,
like,
and
it's so funny because like they always go, "Oh, you're edgy. You're making the kill yourself joke." No, I am not being edgy. I am not fucking with people. If I had a gun, I would have killed myself. I absolutely hate that brain-numbing video she made. And if she makes a response video, there's a reason my thumbnail says "final response." I'm not responding to you. You made my brain cells commit death. You made my brain cells hang themselves. I am not responding to you again. I'm not even going to look at it. If I see it and it says, like, my final response to NomisYalf, you want to know what I'm going to do? I'm going to say, cool story, L plus ratio, and just instantly leave. Not even watch it. Just L plus ratio in the comments, and I'm done. That's it.
Yeah, like I feel like there'd be no reason to respond unless like she accuses you of something like really vile, right? Like, because it's, again, I no doubt it's probably going to be like a long, over the top response.
This like completely went over my head until now. So she in my video was saying like, oh, because like I make sure people know that I go with the complete friendly fire approach. So I have autism, so I don't give a shit about that. I've got high functioning autism. Technically, it makes me smarter. The downside is lack of common sense. So it's a case of I get ups, I get downs. Who doesn't? That's the same with everything. And I remember at one point saying, because I make sure this is like a case of, you know that you can't pull this fucking card. And I say, guess what? If you pull the trick that I'm ableist because you have autism, go fuck yourself. I have autism. Eat shit. And she's like, oh, I would never claim that. I would never claim that because you're not bullying me for my autism. And the funniest thing is, I then checked my comments again after a thing. Sav literally said about how they made a thing saying that they agreed with a point someone made. Just like they weren't on anyone's side, they just agreed with a point that someone made against MushroomGirl. And MushroomGirl was calling them ableist.
Yeah.
The only reason she didn't pull that card is because I mentioned it.
Well, yeah, like I feel like with like in regards to MushroomGirl, she's a very slimy commentator, or not even a commentator, but when she does do commentary videos, I think she's very slimy in the fact that she will just use any card necessary. Like, I'm pretty sure
she tries to make everyone look bad. Like, so
yeah.
Tell me, what do you think commentary is? Because she said that commentary is like, oh yeah, you talk about stuff because you're the one in the right. She literally, so I pointed this out, I put text over it, but like she's saying like, oh yeah, well that's what the whole point of commentary is, dumbass. You're trying to show that you're the one in the right and stuff. And I'm like, no, that is not what commentary is. That is not. No, you don't, like, you can be in the wrong. Like, you could be a pedophile and be like, yeah, I admit I'm a pedophile. I did something fucked, and I'm gonna still say I was in the wrong, but I would still like to share my opinion on the topic. That's fine. Like, Kumo was in the wrong, but he still wanted to share his opinion, and that's why I interviewed him. And I wanted to know the whole story. So he was in the wrong. He admitted he was in the wrong. He apologized, he moved on, and he showed everything that she was in the wrong for. He never tried to admit he was in the right. He never even tried to justify it. And she's basically trying to say that, oh, but that's the whole point, is that you're trying to say you're in the right. No, that's never been what commentary's been about.
No, commentary is like an opinionated piece of media or content where you formulate your own opinions or speak about a subject or whatever, right? Whatever maybe you speak out. Like, it's not that, oh yeah, it's not like I'm making a video just because I think I'm right? I was like, and there'd be no commentary because everyone's made a mistake and everyone's been wrong at some point. So, like, I don't get that perspective or narrative, like, at all.
Yeah, no, like, it's a very childish way to look at it as well. Like, so you've seen my content. Like, could you say that my content falls under the category of satire?
Yeah.
So she misunderstands satire and takes it with half of the story. So satire comedy is like exaggeration, mocking, and ridicule in general. But like the way that Google would say it is inhumanizing and saying that it's like exclusively critiquing something and mocking it while critiquing something. But satire doesn't fall under that. That's like a very inhuman way to express it in a way, like saying that it's exclusively critiquing. So satire commentary in general is a way to talk about something opinionated, but at the very same time use satire comedy in the sense that you would mock and ridicule it with exaggeration without going too far to the point it's personal. More like in a mocking sense, like if I said Leafy had no chin, but we all know he's got a chin, it's just a weak chin. It's like a mocking exaggeration for the sake of comedy. That would be what satire is. And she just basically searched on Google, got the inhuman way of saying it, and that she thinks it's exclusively critiques. And because she's a minor, she's not really thought about it and just seen it as critiquing exclusively. And it's a very misunderstood way to think about it, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, 100%. And just like moving away from that subject, I would like to ask a question.
Go ahead.
It is a question that, again, like you know about this question. We spoke about this question, but it's a question that I ask everyone that comes on the podcast.
No
and that's if you could call out anyone, regardless if they have 1 subscriber or 100 million subscribers, who would you call out and why?
I think I would call out a Cheeto purely for his brain-dead stupidity, because, like, I don't know if you've seen, like, a lot of what he did, but, like, he got famous purely for the allegations on Natty Forsyth. And no joke, at one point Natty Forsyth was on an interview with Keemstar, whatever, some stuff like that, because, like, Keemstar obviously has drama alert. And a Cheeto, like, completely brain dead posts saying pedophiles don't care about age. And I'm like, yes, they fucking do, though, because pedophiles care about age because they're looking for the ones that are underage. That is so unbelievably brain dead, dumb fuck, retarded to say that pedophiles don't care about age. Of course they care about age. Why do you think they're aiming for the ones that are underage? Like, Cheeto is just so unbelievably brain dead, and he actually thinks people are there purely for him, but it's pure ego. They're there for, like, the small topics he talks about or the big things. His fame got purely off of calling out people on allegations, being brain dead about it, and then the 90% of people mocking him. But the thing is, I don't want my, like, entire channel to be just about mocking someone for being retarded. I want it to be off of, like, critiquing someone, mentioning their content and why I can critique that, and, you know, that sort of idea. I will say this, though. On the topic of MushroomGirl, before we, like, completely move on, there's one thing she said in the entire fucking video that was actually good criticism. So, what was that? As like a skit, I'll watch the entire video, but like I'll show like the start or whatever, or a part where it's specifically horrible, and it's usually at the start like her with her annoying lisp, and I'll be like, yeah, nah, fuck it, I'm done. And it's obviously like a skit, because like no one would just watch the tiniest bit and then be like, no, I'm done, unless you're actually just a viewer and you're just like, yeah, I don't like it. But like, it's obviously a skit, and she took it dead serious, and like, maybe you should show the middle because you didn't watch the entire video. I'm like, it's so obviously a skit. Are you high on crack? But like, yeah, like, it's kind of like fair. Maybe I should add skits where it's more in the middle of the entire video instead. So like that's like the only useful criticism I can take from that. But apart from that, the entire video made my brain cells suicidal. And if I could call out anyone, definitely a Cheeto for his brain dead stupidity and his egotistical shit. Like, I will say this, on my old Twitter, before it got suspended because pedophiles mass reported it because I was calling them out, he made a plushie or whatever. He's like, please buy my plushie, very desperately. And I'm like, if you want a plushie that's almost as brain dead as the person who created it, buy this one. And it was really funny because he tried to get my Twitter suspended over it, but like Twitter actually defended me for once. It was really hilarious.
Yeah, like with just in reference to a Cheeto, right? Before I ask my final question, I do want to just speak about real quick.
Sure.
In like reference to a Cheeto, like I've like asked him to come on TrashTalk before, right? I've had like a limited experience with him as a person. But what I do know is from other people and what you've said and just in general, he doesn't really stick to his word. He's really just out to.
Oh no! Like his credibility is in the fucking gutter. I don't know if you've seen a lot of his videos, but he actually, like, unironically started. I don't remember who it was with. Like, I'm fucking terrible with names, but he got absolutely fucking destroyed a few years ago because he got the smallest, tiniest fucking evidence, and it wasn't even legit. It was 100% fucking fake. A genuinely mentally disabled person with half their brain could notice that it was fake. And he went off it and actually ended up spreading false pedophile allegations on someone.
I'm not surprised.
Straight afterward, he got absolutely fucking railed, destroyed, and the video got he didn't break any rules. I mean, well, he kind of did. It's technically illegal to spread false pedophile allegations, but like YouTube just oversee it and just completely ignore that. But people mass reported his video for like how brain dead it was, and it got taken down. And he got striked.
Yeah, I'm not surprised because from everything that I've heard about him and when I've had
he's a disgusting human being.
Yeah, he seems like again, like you said, he has no credibility, right? He says one thing and does the other. Like, we were going to do TrashTalk, just never got back to me. Sort of said he would do it and then never did, right?
I remember you telling me about that actually.
Yeah, like, and look, it's not the first person that's done that, right? But like people like usually, right?
It's still an asshole move. It's a dick move.
It's a dick move, right? Like, if you say you're going to do something, at least follow through, or just politely decline. Like, you don't have to do it. Like, one experience I've had with someone is Harley TBS, right? I spoke to them a little bit about possibly coming on TrashTalk. They positively declined, right? Said, look, regardless, like, I've been doing my own podcast soon, so I don't really want to go on another podcast at this moment in time. Completely fair enough, right?
Well, at least they were respectful. At least they were respectful. Exactly, right? Even knowing that Harley TBS is a bit of an asshole, but like, that's respectful, and I can respect that. Even though, because like I genuinely gave him criticism, like in one of my videos, like obviously the big one that I told you about, and it was like good criticism because he stretches stuff out like way too long. Like he at one point made a thing where he was talking about how he interviewed someone but didn't get full on permission to show it, so he didn't show it. And he could have just said, "Oh well, I interviewed them, I didn't get permission, unfortunately, I couldn't, use it then, I couldn't show it, so maybe I'll make a follow-up if I get permission." That's all he had to say. He stretched it for 2 minutes and 30 seconds.
Yeah. And with Harley specifically, there's a lot that goes on with Harley, like, especially like the topics of like, I know a lot of people like accuse them of like sort of just like milking like allegations like heavily. Like if you look at like the statistics and like how many videos they've made. Yeah,
not just that, but like at one point those people who like disgusting people saying like, oh well, lolicon is technically a drawing, so it doesn't matter. It's like, in my opinion, it's still technically CP because like it might be a drawing, but what is it of? It's a drawing of little girls doing sexually explicit things. This is not okay. And at one point he made a video or whatever, and people like try to defend him on it, but it was basically a video of him saying it's basically the same that all lolicons say, oh, it's a drawing. This is not something you do because it harms your credibility. And in general, it's kind of fucked because you don't defend lolicon stuff purely for that reason. Like, I can see why you might think, but like, although it's a drawing, it's still a sexually explicit drawing of little girls still. Like, whether it's a drawing or not doesn't matter. This has basically led to gateways of people actually committing pedophilic acts. This is not okay.
Well, yeah, 100%. And like, Harley's pretty slimy again, right? And I feel like to just to conclude that bit, I feel like it's a great example of why a lot of people, especially bigger content creators, are pretty slimy, right? Like they will do slimy things. Like look at Cheeto, look at Harley, look at just like Jalen, look at other people, right?
Yeah.
And my final question to you, right, is purely on the future, right? What are you gonna do? Like, do you have any future endeavors? Like, do you have anything in the future you want to do with your podcast, your main channel? Like, is there anything you want to do in the future?
Well, I kind of hope that my podcast becomes as successful as yours, because, like, as I've seen, your shit's pretty successful. You have a lot of fun doing it, and your fans enjoy it. And I hope that some of my fans can enjoy it as much as they enjoy your stuff, because, like, it's cool. Like, I like having the support. It's not my main thing that like makes me like 100% make videos, but it gives me that boost to continue, and it's motivating like massively. And overall, like main channel wise, I would say I hope to like get massive, but purely off of entertaining people who genuinely enjoy my channel, and that alone.
Yeah, 100%. And I think that's a great way to conclude the episode, right? Just looking forward into the future and just hoping that people enjoy your content. Having people just like, not even fans, just people that like look out for your content and just genuinely enjoy like an upload of like your podcast, your main channel, and just like look forward to the next NomisYalf video or next episode of the Madman's Lad podcast. So no, I 100% get that. And I do really appreciate you coming on today's Trash Talk episode.
Oh, no, it's no problem. Like, I kind of like wanted to come on kind of in a way like I just thought it would be like a cool thing. I could get in your head, you could get in mine, maybe spread like a bit of a thing that people wouldn't go, because like people see me as a sort of egotistical bragger or some shit, because like I'm a character, I'm the serial killer of the internet, I'm gonna kill everything, like that sort of thing. And people are seeing it more like an egotistical bragger sort of sense. And I kind of dislike that, but it's a character. Like, yeah, I'm chilling, I'm vibing, I'm spreading my genuine opinions, but it's not like I'm like obsessed with myself. I'm like making content so people can enjoy, have a laugh with a few insults and jokes.
Yeah, no, 100%. And like I said, like Anna said in the episode, like it's always great to just like sit down, speak on like an actual human level, right? Just like dive into some topics, and it's been good. So again, I really do appreciate you coming on today's episode.
No worries.
And like
but I've got an offer for you. So an offer that no one will give you. So would you like to know 2 secrets about my channel that? Well, fuck it. I mean, like, you know, maybe I could get the word out, people could understand a bit more. Would you like to know?
100%. Go ahead.
So, the reason my name is one that will be remembered if I ever get big is because it's actually backwards. So, it's obviously original in the sense that it looks unique. And a lot of people call me an emo because my character's colors are dark and weird. See, here's a fact. The reason my character's colors are exclusively black and white is literally purely because I'm colorblind. So if I make it black and white, I see it the same as everyone else. And that's the secrets of the NomisYalf channel.
Well, just like expanding on that before we end off the episode, that's a pretty interesting thing that you've like used like white and black mainly as your like main colors, right?
Yeah.
So that you do see it through the eyes of how everyone else sees it.
Yeah. Which if I make it like that, then if I make it like multiple different colors, I don't see it the same as everyone else. So if I make it just black and white, I know I see it same as everyone else, and I can just chill with that.
Yeah, 100%, and it's almost like trying to be, I don't know, like trying to be like with everyone, right? Like trying to be in the same position as everyone, as like so that you're almost on the same level as everyone, which is sort of something that aligns with your channel, your character, and the podcast. So no, I 100% get why you do that, and it is a pretty interesting, like I'd also say, pretty random fact about why you've decided to do something with your channel.
I thought it would be an interesting fact to just like expose on the channel, like on your podcast.
100%. Yeah, and I appreciate you sharing that with us. And if people are more like interested with your channel, content, and everything, your channel and podcast will be linked down below. So if anyone wants to go and check out Nomis's stuff, that they can do that with their own free will.
Sounds dope.
Yeah, exactly. And I've been your host, Samuel, and I'll catch you in the next episode of Trash Talk. But for now, goodbye.